Your event is starting, and I think we are live. Hello, how's everybody doing today? It's too early to start drinking, but I found something that somebody sent me something that makes me want to get pretty drunk. Because I just this kind of shit drives me crazy. If you guys are very familiar, there has been a push by certain groups. I'm also watching the kid while I'm doing this too. There's been a push by some groups, social justice groups, to try and normalize pedophilia. If not normalize, at least like remove the stigma so people can talk about it more freely. And one of the new efforts is to change the terminology from pedo to a MAP, a minor attracted person, which is gross. And it's just more of this kind of shit where people are, I think people are intoxicated to being persecuted. I think they really are. And at this point, because of the way the world works, the way the internet works, it's so much more intoxicating for people to risk the possible public shame in order to get that the fucking sweet juicy persecution feeling, because that's how people know that they're special in today's world, is if they're persecuted. So still a little cold, so I got my hoodie on and shit, but I look alright. I'm pretty good. It's not like any of these maps want to fuck me. I'm too old. Hey. So, we're going to watch a video that was sent to me. Well, the channel was sent to me. First, let's take a look at the channel. And by the way, so we're doing this kind of loosey-goosey. So, if you have, I'm going to be trying to read the chat as much as I can while we're going through this. If you have really good sources or really interesting things that you want to send to me, tell me in chat that you, well, tweet it to me and then tell me in chat to go look at my Twitter. But try and make sure that it's like something actually applicable, because if too many people are sending me stupid memes, then I'm going to have to stop paying attention to Twitter altogether. So, it's up to you guys. So let's take a look at this guy's fucking website. There we go. This is Cartograph. Cartograph is a YouTuber with 232 subscribers here. Sick of it. And let's take a look at his channel here. Map Rents, Teal Swan, Pedophilia, 100 subs live stream, a Hebe, a pedo, a normie walk into a bar, evolution of minor attraction. I already watched that one. Is minor attraction wrong? That's the one that we're gonna watch. Power dynamics, childhood development. Oh, is it Doomed Around? What's up? What's up, Undoomed? How you doing, buddy? I don't know if he wants to watch fucking pedo videos with me. Jesus. Is minor... That sounds bad. But you know what I mean. Fucking maps videos. Jesus. Is minor attraction a choice? Dehumanization of minor attracted people. Is pedophilia unnatural? So, as you can see, this guy's quite a winner. I was pretty disgusted too, because he's apparently a fan of a lot of people that I like too. But I mean, you know, you can't really get mad about people liking things even if they're horrible people. But it did bother me quite a bit. Maybe it's because I'm sensitive. But anyway, let's watch this video. So this one is right here. Is minor attraction wrong? And if we open it up, I'm gonna open it up in a different way. But 3,000 views, 73 up votes, 83 down votes. Yeah. All right, let's take a look at this video. This is gonna be fucked.
Hello, my name is Cartograph, and I am a minor attracted person. I'm here to provide information regarding minor attraction, answer questions, counter arguments, and try to provide a place for people to come and discuss a taboo and oftentimes difficult topic.
Now, let me be as charitable as I can. Let me be as charitable as I can. I understand that attraction is not a willful process. There are people out there who are unfortunately attracted to children, and it's not like you can control your behavior. You can't really necessarily control the unnatural, whatever. You can't necessarily control the impulses of sexuality that you have. You can only control your behavior. So, in the scope of that, trying to be as charitable as I possibly can, I do think it's important that people who are attracted to minors talk about it, but to a fucking therapist. Talk about it to a fucking therapist, and get help for it, because it's not something that should be, broadcast like this, like a fucking, this isn't like an AA meeting. It's ugh.
Before I get into the meat of this topic, I'd like to point out that I am not a philosopher, and my reading on the topic has mostly confused me. What follows is therefore quite possibly insane. I don't know if it makes sense or not, but it's based on logic and reason to the best of my ability. With that said, today I'll be discussing, is minor attraction wrong?
Yes. Yes, it is. It's not necessarily something that you can control, but is it an incorrect thing? Yes. Yes, it is. I'll tell you why.
The heart of the issue. Naturally, being minor attracted myself, I don't think it's wrong. That's a given.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter if you don't think it's wrong. It is wrong. We base the collective good of rules and established appropriate societal behavior based upon society. It is our collected acceptance of right and wrong. Full stop. That's just how it fucking works. I mean, I know some people don't necessarily like that. And by all means, if you think there's something wrong in society, go ahead. Try and change it. Try and change it. But society has to be convinced, and this is not something society will be convinced of. Not anymore. I mean, there are places like in I think it's Papua New Guinea, where every boy as he's growing up has to swallow the semen of the elders of the tribe. They're basically sexualized and forced to perform blowjobs on men until they're of age, and it's fucked up. We don't do that here. We think it's wrong because the collective understanding of people has deemed it wrong. If you don't like it, take it up with society.
However, I think it's pertinent to explain why I don't think it's wrong, from a few different angles, as well as why I think it's considered so by most of society. First of all, it's natural. This really has little to do with morality, but it's important to say.
Okay, go on.
Otherwise, I might get people arguing that it being unnatural is somehow proof of its immorality. I have done a video giving evidence for this claim, and briefly explaining why it makes no sense. Here's an annotation.
Okay, please, yes, by all means, please annotate it, because I'm not going to go back and watch another one.
Both good and bad things are natural. Mangoes and bunnies are natural. Rot and pneumono-ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis are natural. Birth and death are natural. There is nothing inherently good about being natural. And yet, it seems like a convincing argument on the surface. Why? I'm not sure, but I have an idea.
I will agree with him on the I hate using fallacies. I hate it when people do that, but I'll do it now. The natural fallacy I think is stupid. It's better for you because it's natural. Arsenic is natural. Cyanide is natural. Fuck natural.
Ignorance. No, not ignorance of whatever is being argued for or against, though sometimes that too. No, I mean humankind's ignorance of nature. When we fuck with the natural order, whatever that may be, we have the potential to cause a lot of damage. Science has a sordid history with this. For example...
in specific points, sure, but let's go ahead.
The use of thalidomide to treat morning sickness. By not understanding how thalidomide affected fetal development, over 10,000 children were born with malformed limbs, with less than half surviving.
Yes, and, well, that's... fuck-ups happen when you're developing science and technology.
Of course, it was also through science that we learned how this happened, so we won't repeat our mistakes.
Right.
But if being unnatural isn't a good reason to believe minor attraction is wrong...
Wait, if being unnatural isn't a good reason for... How does... oh my god, I'm gonna sound like fucking Stefan Molyneux here. Not an argument. That's not an argument. But it's not an argument. That doesn't... You can't claim natural or unnatural are necessarily like the best or worst reasons for minor attraction. Like, what the fuck? It has nothing to do with natural or unnatural. It's morally wrong. It's morally wrong to sexualize children.
Why do I bring it up? It's because I think it highlights an aspect of morality, or rather immorality. Harm, or the perception thereof.
Okay.
Humans are social creatures with a strong sense of empathy.
Yes.
We understand that most people experience the world in much the same way, and barring interesting psychological conditions, we don't want ourselves or others hurt.
To a degree, yeah, that's true. Empathy is really important. Empathy is like one of the basis for not only group cohesion but also communication. But empathy has its limits. Collective groups of human beings will selectively choose to de-empathize themselves from certain concepts in order to be able to facilitate the common good and the own group's perspectives and goals. Like, what the fuck? Oh, what's up, Billy Bong? What's up, Competing Forever? Good to see you guys.
Part of our makeup, and it develops in an early age. Hurting others becomes taboo. Nobody likes a person who hurts or threatens others.
Yeah, apparently you've never been around a whole lot of kids, which is probably good because you're a minor attracted person. Kids are fucking savage. Kids are mean to each other.
This is done in fun for both people,
Really
or to
mean.
prevent further harm to others. Another reason I note that minor attraction is natural is to point out that it's not a mental disorder. Google is mostly unhelpful regarding mental illness, defining it as
How is it not a mental disorder? How are you gonna Are you gonna define mental disorder? But okay, tell me why Google is a problem.
a condition which causes serious disorder in a person's behavior or thinking. What sort of criteria are used to determine if a condition is a mental disorder, or if it is a different, healthy mental state? I don't know, but based on my
Then why are you talking about it? If you don't know, then why are you talking about it? Here's a really good... Now, I am not the biggest fan of psychology. I'm not. I've never really been the biggest fan of psychology, aside from when it deals with brain structures and biochemicals. I'm a physical guy. Like, I'm all about the physical study of the mind, not necessarily so much as psychology, but I understand psychology really well because it was part of learning about neuroscience when I was still in school, and I do hope to eventually go back to school. Kids all squealing and running around back out there. Are you being good? Yeah, he's fine. But here's a basic rundown. This is how you know whether or not a condition or perspective is a disorder or not. Is it aberrant to the basic status quo of how people's brains work? Yes, then it's a disorder. And I would say pedophilia is absolutely a mental disorder. Absolutely. It would fit the absolute definition of it being an aberrant mental state and means of attraction. Yes, absolutely.
limited knowledge, it seems to take into account harm and objective reality. If you have a mental condition that harms yourself or others, or makes you wish to, it's probably an illness.
Right.
There are exceptions, such
Which pedophilia would classify as that, yeah.
as enjoying tattoos, which has occurred for time immemorial, and technically makes you want to hurt yourself and leave a permanent icon of that pain, but it's considered healthy, and even admired. If you have a mental
So tattoos are a mental disorder, but wanting to fuck a kid is not. Okay?
condition that makes you think reality is different to objective reality, then you probably have a mental illness.
Yeah.
This is less clear-cut than it initially seems. Systems of belief vary greatly, and at what point is it considered illness? A majority of people believe in...
I will say that, like I was saying before, I'm not the biggest fan of psychology, and because psychology is loose attributations, psychology is 9 times out of 10 not something that you can empirically test for. You just have to do the best you can. Now, psychologists these days, in the past, they were a lot more loosey-goosey. There are a lot more very controlled, interesting studies. They're very, very compelling. So I would absolutely put stock and faith into a lot of psychology, but not all of it. I do question it. I do pay attention to it. I think the mental health industry especially when it comes to like how people are trying to pump kids full of pills all the time, is a lot of times grossly inappropriate and done wrong. But that doesn't mean like all psychology is bullshit, you know. Fuck.
some sort of higher power which can't be proven objectively, but they aren't mentally ill. A majority of people believe that women have been oppressed throughout history, but that just contradicts the facts, and yet they aren't insane either. But the guy who thinks the government is stealing his thoughts through his feelings most definitely is. The difference I see in these examples is that the first two aren't inherently dangerous, while the last one is.
Oh, Computing Forever says, tell this pedo that jail is not a mental illness. Fucking A, man. Let's hear that one more time. Let's hear this example one more time.
The difference I see in these examples is that the first ill. A majority of people believe that women have been oppressed throughout history, but that just contradicts the facts, and yet they aren't insane either. But the guy who thinks the government is stealing his thoughts through his feelings most definitely is. The difference I see in these examples is that the first two aren't inherently dangerous, while the last one is.
How? How are the first two inherently not inherently dangerous? You have people who worship a floating cloud man in the sky, and then going out and committing atrocities in his name. That's not inherently dangerous? Huh. Or, you know, women's oppression, like, has led to people doing some pretty crazy shit. It doesn't matter what it is. Any idea, any concept can be twisted around by people in order to do something dangerous. But by your own example, the last one was a guy who's just worried that the government is stealing his thoughts. I mean, unless he has a psychotic break and stabs somebody, like, how is that inherently dangerous? Like, this is such a stupid argument. How is this supposed to be compelling or interesting in any way? Oh my god. I mean, it's interesting to me because it's bad, but these are fucking terrible arguments.
Considering the current ideas about children, it's no wonder that minor attraction is considered a mental illness. Most people think children are innocent of all sexuality, and that sex is somehow damaging.
Children, of course, are going to be sexual creatures to a certain extent. It's when they start engaging into puberty that their actual sexuality starts to fully develop. Now, here's the problem. This guy's going to start making some arguments about sex and harm and that sort of thing. There are studies. There are fucking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of studies out there that show that there are serious psychological harm that comes to children when they engage in sex acts with people who are vastly older than them. There are even studies that show that children that engage in sex acts with each other when they're too young and they don't understand what's going on, they don't understand emotional attachments, have had serious harm come to them. But he's going to make this argument. Just you fucking wait.
Honestly, I think that idea is more damaging than minor attraction. Educated minor attracted people understand that children are not asexual and tend to realize the negative effects of sexual suppression children suffer.
Really? Like,
it's hard to be harmful when you're looking out for the best interests of another, while everyone else is watching to see if you fuck up. As evidence for the harm caused by childhood sexual suppression, a 1981 study on the immediate and long-term effects of childhood sexual experiences had this to say. Of particular interest are the two cells in Table 17.4, representing the best case and worst case conditions. The worst case situation, characterized by high anxiety and high guilt, is that of the passive consenter, who is aware of the moral negatives but ignorant of sex. This is the typical American child, told that sex is bad but not what it is, and taught to be compliant and obedient with adults and older siblings. And
oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. So passive consent, he's basically, okay, let me break this down, and I need to break it down too, just so I can kind of absorb this and understand what his point is. Passive consent is children who are unaware really of sexuality and sex, but they understand that it's wrong. But they go for it anyway, and then it basically turns into high guilt, copious amounts of high guilt. This is so fucked up.
Not to tattle. The best case situation is that of the active cooperator.
The best case situation is when it doesn't fucking happen.
Sex, but has not absorbed the conventional moral negatives. This suggests the best course of action in reducing the negative effects of childhood sexual experience is to educate children about sex and not have such action considered immoral.
No, the best course of action is to completely keep children away from sex until they are sexually maturing. That's the best case scenario. What the fuck? Like, by this own argument, it's showing, like, fuck. Where is it? There's still moderate anxiety, low anxiety, low anxiety. The thing is you can, if you need an example of being able to normalize something in a kid's brain through brainwashing, look at the fucking kids that are part of the Westboro Baptist Church family. There you go. Is that good? Fucking idiot.
Sexual experience is to educate children about sex and not have such action considered immoral. If it wasn't immoral in society, they wouldn't need to remain ignorant of its moral standing to keep from feeling guilty.
But there's a reason why it's immoral.
Wait a second. If my definition of mental illness is accurate,
and it's not,
and antis deny the reality of child sexuality, which leads to psychological harm, does that mean being an anti is literally insane?
No. No. What? What the fuck? This is so fucked up. This is so fucked up. I know this is probably really fucking with some people. I am really sorry about this, you guys. Like, I did put a trigger warning, you know, unironically a trigger warning that this is happening, you know. Yeah, no, I understand. If not everybody can watch this, it's fine. I totally understand. It's okay. I'm going through it because, for one, if people, it's a bit of a filter. I want people to know that this kind of shit is actually out there and understand the arguments that these people are fucking making and why it's fucked up. But also, if people do have interesting things to send me, like, you know, studies and interesting science on the topic, like, I absolutely want to see it. No, this is not one of the Heart Progress guys.
I might explain a few comments. Anyway, I've already suggested that the root cause behind minor attraction being considered immoral is the potential harm to MAPS or the children they love. I've also said that it's not harmful.
The potential harm to MAPS and children that they love. You know, you're missing out on a big part of this. What's up, baby? I'm streaming. Do you see the kiddo? Okay. This is the core heart of why these people are so fucking dangerous, is because they're completely selfish. The basis for their arguments are solely on normalizing their own feelings and wanting to justify their access to doing something the society deems is wrong. That's why these people are fucking dangerous. That's why I want people to know that these people are on fucking YouTube, you know?
And to expand on this assertion, I made a YouTube channel. Glad you could be here. That's how big of a topic it is, so I won't say anything about it here. Instead, I'll bring up my next...
That's why it's so big of a topic it is that there's a YouTube channel. There's a YouTube channel dedicated to teaching people how to do things wrong by making a mess in their house. How to basic. I like how to basic.
Point as to why minor attraction isn't wrong. It's beneficial. That's right. The most despised thing in the world might actually be good for you. Like broccoli to a 3-year-old. I'll point out here...
Your penis is like broccoli. Okay. Good to know.
...that most of the evidence I've found for this point is anecdotal. But that just means it's worth exploring. In the past, we've discovered some very beneficial things in what we've assumed is harmful. Like tomatoes, which were thought to be poisonous due to their relation to the deadly nightshade plant. Or penicillin hiding within mold. It is always in humanity's best interest to explore the potential benefits of harmful things within as close to lab conditions as possible. It's how our knowledge grows and how we move towards a brighter future. But back to the benefits. The research I've found in this area is limited. I assume that's due to stigma and legality.
Oh, fuck me. Somebody said, Jeff, your screen's black, homie? My screen is black? Is it? It shouldn't be. Here, I need to get this thing up real quick while I'm doing this. No, it's not black. Jesus Christ, you're fucking with me, you bastard. Okay. So he's apparently, this guy's gonna walk us through how these types of sexual relationships are apparently good. Let's hear it. Let's find out.
What I've found is not specific to minor attraction, but it is strongly related. An article in Express newspapers pointed out an interesting correlation. Cultures in which physical affection is discouraged have higher violent crime rates. The study looked at 2 countries, France and the USA, and monitored how often physical affection was shown to children by parents in front of restaurants. The French averaged out to about 110 times in half an hour, whereas the parents from the USA averaged out to twice in the same time period.
Okay.
Rather than assume this accounted for the
Parental affection is... Okay, I need to fucking figure this out.
much higher violent crime rate in America, the researchers then proceeded to watch the interactions between children at playgrounds. They found that the American children were violent 34% of the time. It's about 1 in 3, which is significant, especially compared to the French 1 in 100. There may be
So, French are pussies, got it.
no connection to the crime rates in
Sorry.
those countries,
Sorry.
but there is a strong correlation, considering that the violent crime rate in USA is at least 3 times that of France.
Correlation is not causation. Correlation is not causation. 9 times out of 10, when somebody starts talking about correlatives in a fucking YouTube video, it's because they're trying to make an argument that there is something that isn't actually there. There is a fucking chart that it's brilliant. There's a whole website dedicated to bad correlations. Like there's one that shows that the release of Nicolas Cage movies leads to more drowning deaths. Fuck off.
Further, back in 1975, one James Prescott released an article in the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists titled Body Pleasure and the Origins of Violence, which is odd considering the name of the publication. Still, it brings up some very good points. It's very large though, and 40 years old, so I'll have to condense the whole thing down.
Okay.
Basically, Prescott claimed, after much research into current and past civilizations, that sex negativity was in fact the cause of violent societies. Well,
Wait, violent societies that you show in the Romans? The Romans were an extremely sexualized and militaristic and bloody civilization. What the fuck?
like nations were also known to consider sex to be taboo, with strict social standards on how to deal with it, whereas those nations that were more open and accepting of sexuality were also the most peaceful.
The Tibetans? Why are you showing why are you showing a picture of the Tibetans? Do you even understand anything about fucking Tibet? This is fun. This is fun. You guys should check this out sometime. A lot of people don't understand this. And I'm not advocating for the occupation of Tibet. I'm not at all. But I am going to say a lot of people have this fantasy about what Tibet was like before the Chinese came in. Tibet was not a fucking peaceful civilization because of its altruism. Tibet was mostly peaceful because of its brutal, fucked up punishments and its very stern caste system, where the highest caste were the religious, and they had entire fucking like basement chambers where they could pluck out your fucking eyeballs or chop off your limbs for minor offenses, all to simply keep the serfs like in line and servicing this elite. It was a fucking hellhole if you weren't part of the religious elite. Tibet is not some idyllic fucking country. And were they kitty diddlers? Does anybody know? Like, I don't think that they were kitty diddlers. What the fuck is this?
This can still be seen today. Look at Europe compared to the USA, compared to the Middle East. The nations get progressively more sex negative and progressively more violent.
More sex negative? There is actual full-blown pedophilia being practiced in fucking, like, Middle Eastern Muslim countries. You ever heard of fucking Pakistan? Pakistan's trash, dude. They fucking normalize all sorts of pedophilic fucking shit, and they are extremely fucking violent. They'll behead people in the streets. They stone women to fucking death. How is it? What are you fucking talking about?
Some outdated science in there, so it's not infallible. However, I do believe it's made an accurate claim, which deserves further examination and confirmation, as the scientific method demands. Speaking of wonderful articles, I read a fantastic post on consenting humans recently, entitled Some Arguments for a Kinder World. In it, the author details most eloquently some of the benefits of children's sexual rights, pedophilia, and pro-map society. I'll leave a link in the description box. I recommend you go and check it out. I won't recite the post here, but I will bring up one of the points I feel is important.
Okay, by all means, go ahead.
Map-child relationships are the only situation in which a child has the power to opt out at will. This is important. Where else can children learn that they can...
Wait, say that again.
Map-child relationships are the only situation in which a child has the power to opt out at will.
How exactly does that work? Are there any other types of relationships between two people where somebody cannot opt out? What?
This is important. Where else can children learn that they can choose their relationships for themselves? With other adults, they cannot get away, at least not without considerable effort.
What? What are you talking about? What? The kid can't get away from its parents? What?
How often have parents brought kids to a doctor that they clearly wanted to avoid? How often has a babysitter been kept around despite protests from the child because those protests didn't include serious issues?
Is this Poe?
And don't think kids have much respite at school. They're put into peer groups regardless of how they interact with each other. They're forced into play dates that they may not want to...
Because they're kids and they can't make their own logical decisions. They have underdeveloped fucking brains, you retard. Their endocrine system hasn't started pumping the right neurochemicals in order to stimulate full brain development, full cognitive function. But they apparently can consent to fucking some old dude?
be a part of. They're even separated from their chosen friends for various reasons, usually against their will. There's a degree of independence that is necessary for a map-child relationship to flourish. Most parents want to foster independence with their children for adulthood. However,
you can't until they're old enough and their brains have developed enough that this is actually a viable... Oh my god.
they want to do so without giving up any power. It happens begrudgingly, but it takes literal rebellion to wrest that control from them. There's something to be said for this, as rebelling could cause greater independence than learning it through social interactions. However, I think the negative effects for both parents and the child make the latter preferable.
Rebellion is a natural fucking... It's a neurochemically inspired part of development. We see it in animals. We see it all over the fucking place. What do you... Oh my god.
So to sum up, minor attraction is at least harmless, and
No.
potentially beneficial.
No.
Because of this, it isn't immoral to be attracted to children.
Yeah, it is. It's not technically immoral to be attracted to them. It is immoral to act upon that in any way.
Nor would map-child relationships be.
Yes, they would. Savagely so. Immensely so. Immensely so. Not just because of the actual stated harm that we have seen, we've tested for, and we've understood for decades and decades and decades, fucking hundreds of years in the West, but also simply just on the basis that fucking, oh my god, Western values in and of itself has deemed it as immoral. It's as simple as that. Like, oh my god.
The only thing causing harm, and thus making it immoral, is the fact that it's considered immoral. Damn circular reasoning. Why must you curse us so often?
Why won't you let me fuck a kid?
Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, or it gave you cause to think, please click that like button. If you want to see more, why not subscribe? And if you have an issue with my argument, or you want to show your support, please comment below.
Oh my god. Okay, well there was that one. Oh fuck. God damn. People are like, why did you quit smoking? This is the kind of shit. This kind of shit right here is why I have not quit smoking. It's so fucking crazy. I guess a lot of people came in and are, I don't know if you're digging it so much as got the I don't know, dude. I mean, if you guys want to, we can watch one more. We can watch one more if you want to. Press 1 if you want me to do one more. I'll do the, where is it? I'll fucking drag this thing up. The evolution of minor attraction. We'll hear what he thinks is science. Let me get this thing fucking downloaded. If you guys want. 1 if you think I should. There's only 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, alright. Alright, you guys want me to. Fine. Let me download this fucking cancer. And move it up here. Get that down to there.
Hello.
Okay. I want to check real quick how many viewers we got going on right now. 363. Wow, on my second channel. That's pretty cool. If you're not subbed to this channel, I don't know if you want to. I do like a bunch of the Patreon stuff on it, so it might be a little spammy. But when I just want to do something like very immediate and that kind of shit, I usually do it here. So if you're into catching some of my extra little thoughts and stuff, you should sub to this channel. Okay. Let me get this all prepared.
Hello, my name is Cartograph, and I am a minor attracted person.
Yep.
I'm here to provide
Oh, shit, I'm sorry. Actually, before I do that, a couple of you super chatted me, and it's funny to me because it's on my second channel. Peach Bailey, Ranty Monkey, Irate Bear, what's up, guys? Good to see you. Parallel Luna, Jeff, your screen's black, homie. No, it wasn't. You were fucking with me. And the Angry Penguin sent me some love. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate that.
Information regarding minor attraction, answer questions, counter arguments, and try to provide a place for people to come and discuss a taboo and oftentimes difficult topic. I am a huge fan of evolutionary theory.
Ugh.
I love thinking about how things evolved and why.
Jesus Christ.
I look at the majesty of nature and I see a plethora of beautiful things. I think about the easily visible things, like claws of cats or the speed of mice, like the bark of a tree or
claws of cats and the speed of mice. Like, what the fuck, dude? Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Chad, I need your help. Here, let's get serious here for a second. Chad, I need your help. We're watching minor attracted persons videos. It's 11:30. Can I have a beer? Do you think I can have a beer? Should I have a beer? Only one. I got shit to do today, and I gotta go do a bunch of stuff and check the mailbox and all this kind of stuff. But just one. Do you think I could sneak just one just for this video? What do you guys think? Because Angry Penguin just sent me $2 more and said for the second beer, man. So I don't know. It just sounds so good right now, and this is so terrible. Yeah, I should get a beer. Please kill me, Jeff. I'm not killing you. Fuck that. Oh, yes, beer. I can have a beer. Chat says I can have a beer memory. Cool. All right, let's do this fucking thing. Yeah, I know. Memory's already drinking.
the beak on a bird, and I realized these things adapted themselves to each other, which in turn adapted to them. I think about the microscopic parts of each of these, and I know they came about through millions of generations of mostly failure.
Yeah,
evolution
that's how evolution works. Congratulations.
Is one of my favorite topics in the world, and so I'm going to share my thoughts on the evolution of minor attraction.
Ooh boy!
Please note that while I've put a lot of thought into all of the following opinions, they are just that, opinion. I do not claim them to be authoritative, and encourage you to look into this yourself and draw your own.
I kind of like how this dude does put the disclaimer on there, like, I'm not an expert, these are just my thoughts. And I appreciate that kind of candor. It's just too bad that your ideas are terrible and you don't understand the basic concepts that you're trying to speak about. But that's cool.
Own conclusions. With that said, I think I'll first give an intro to evolution. There are a few ways to describe evolution, but the broadest and most accurate is gradual change over time. But that doesn't give us very much, does it? We need to go deeper.
That's the observation of evolution. I mean, that's kind of a shitty way to describe evolution. Whatever, fuck it.
While it would be inaccurate to say that there is a goal to evolution, given that it's a natural process and not a conscious one, it can be said that reproduction is absolutely its main driving factor. With
procreation, yeah, maybe.
every generation
That's the fundamental mechanism by which it works, I suppose.
that passes on its genes is variation, which is evolution at work. Initially, this was done with cell splitting and having mutations in a genetic code affect the success of that generation.
Not really. Not really. Cell splitting does not necessarily have anything to... I mean... you can have fuck-ups and will lead to it, sure. But that it's really successive generations of specific individual life, not necessarily cells, but whatever, fuck it.
And later there was genetic swapping as well, and probably others. But I'm not well read into microbiology to know for sure. Eventually, there was a change in the way each generation passed on its genes. I don't know the way it evolved, but sex proved to be an excellent driver for evolution, given that it can...
Well, nobody really knows. Nobody really knows how it evolved to that. But we can see the advantages of it specifically, especially in mammalian life. The advantages that mammalian reproduction has over other types of life forms. I mean, other life forms have certain advantages that we don't. I mean, look at the way that fungi fucking reproduce. They have fascinating genetic structures. But that's a little too nerdy for this. Let's keep going.
Combine similar complementary genetic codes into new ones, and thus increase the variation available in a given population. I'm not going to get into genetic diversity, or genetic drift, or even speciation. For my conclusions, the only thing you need to know is that evolution favors sex in macroscopic organisms. The method of sex is often different, but the effect is still the same. More sex means more children, means those genes are more likely to last on an evolutionary scale.
Sure.
Of course, sex isn't the only thing selected for. For example, some squirrels will give up their lives to save their families.
Yes.
This is likely selected because the genes that would encourage that behavior...
Genes that encourage that behavior. That's dangerous territory you're treading on there, especially if you're going to be talking to somebody who studies neuroscience and genetics. But, is the chat screen OBS froze? You know what? I believe it is, actually. I wonder why that is. Why are you frozen? Let me try and restart it. I don't know why it does that. Sometimes it just does. Bam. What if I do that? What if I remove it and then put it back? I like having the chat, man. It's important to me. No, it's frozen. What the fuck? That's stupid. Why is that frozen? Is it moving now? Yep, it's moving now. Okay, cool. All right. Cool. Fixed it. Got it. Nailed it. Can't be stopped. Let's do this shit.
Live on in brothers and sisters and children. So, protecting the family is also favored, as is protecting the weaker in the species, normally children. There are also things selected against. Pointless suicide is usually selected against because there's no advantage to it.
Pointless suicide is selected against. Genes aren't that smart. Genes are not that smart.
See many species nowadays with a habit of killing themselves for absolutely no reason. Celibacy, or sexual shame, is also selected against.
How are genes selecting against celibacy and shame? These are not evolutionary concepts. These are fucking psychosocial behavioral concepts. What? Because
sex leads through the reproduction of genes, so genes that stop sex stop their own replenishment. Okay, with that out of the way, let's look at
grossly misrepresented. Yeah, okay, let's go.
Minor attraction. What evolutionary advantages does it have? What are the disadvantages of not having it? Are there similar mechanisms in place as proof of concept? Could it be a consequence of other mechanisms? The first two questions here are linked. The lack of an advantage can be looked at as a disadvantage, and vice versa.
Not really. Not really. I mean, we don't need our appendixes anymore, you know, but we still have them. We have superfluous little bits, and none of these are disadvantages necessarily. I suppose if you get appendicitis, maybe it is.
So to simplify, I'll be taking an additive approach. I won't use the lack of an effect as its opposite. I'll also try to apply these to the orientation, not to any specific species.
Okay.
Minor attraction has a direct benefit of preparing children for a world that includes sex. Probably a lot of sex.
Gross. That is fucking gross. Fucking gross, dude. Oh, Parallel Luna, fuck sobriety drink. Thank you, appreciate that. Fucking gross, dude.
Which would likely first occur with the minor attracted individual, who would effectively show them the ropes.
Let's back up and let's hear that all without me talking in it. So we understand what he just said.
A world that includes sex. Probably a lot of sex. Which would likely first occur with the minor attracted individual, who would effectively show them the ropes.
Thereby causing irreparable psychological harm. Great idea. Great idea. These people will be fantastic fucking parents. After they get through a shit ton of therapy and self-reflection and shame and trying to find a way to live with the shit that had happened to them and have to go through trauma. And, you know, and then have to, it's so fucked up. It's so fucked up. The very notion of this is so incredibly fucked up. The act of sex with a child when you are in a position of power and you're an adult it's fucking abuse. It is abuse of something that is innocent and cannot actually fucking defend itself. Oh my god.
If so, there's an increased chance of that individual's genes being passed on. There's the benefit of bonding. In species that mate for life, or include bonded pairs, or parenting, being the first to bond with a mate is a determining factor in whether or not those genes get passed on. By being attracted to them before the more teleophilic members of the species, they gain that extra edge.
An extra edge. Well, I'm sorry, minor addicted person, but here's the problem with your fucking argument when you're talking about mated for life as a correlative example for you. And I understand that you're not making the case. You're not making the case that we bond for life. I understand that, but you're bringing it up obviously because this argument is entirely about why minor attraction is perfectly fine and natural. Well, if you are a pedophile and you're attracted to a kid, and you engage in a sex act with that kid, or even a full-blown relationship with that kid, what happens when that kid grows up? You're a minor attracted person. What happens? Where does that kid go? Are you still going to be attracted to them now that they're no longer a minor?
Another benefit is resource sharing. In social species, resources are shared based on many metrics. And this doesn't just mean food or shelter, it can also mean protection, sleep, or privacy. There's a suggestion that homosexuality evolved to better provide this sharing. With no children of their own,
where?
They make great babysitters and are just as willing to defend their nieces and nephews from aggressors as their father.
Gay people make great babysitters. What? What the fuck, dude? Oh my god. Fuck. What the fuck? Fuck off. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
A similar thing could be said about minor attraction.
No.
Minor attracted individuals are more willing to give their support to the families of their mate, and will be more willing to risk their health or lives to protect them.
Yeah, you better have a giant dowry for that child bride, I tell you that much. What the fuck, dude? Fuck you.
Much like a teleophile would do so for their mate. This, in turn, increases the likelihood of that family accepting him or her, and his or her
Bribery usually does work pretty fucking well, but only in desperation would anybody even remotely consider allowing a sexual relationship between their fucking child and a grown person. Oh my god.
Offspring, and therefore keeps the genes viable into successive generations. I'll take a brief detour from minor attraction itself to talk about its flip side, childhood sexuality. A big benefit to having children as sexual beings is that there won't be a delay in mating when they reach puberty.
So not only sex with kids, but let's knock up all the kids. Oh, okay. Jesus Christ. What's up, that girl? What's up, Malcolm? What's up, Reading Ren? What's up? Ooh, Modern Medusa. How you doing?
There'll be nothing new to learn, except for being pregnant, but by then, the genes have already been passed on. There's also a bunch of likely benefits to child sex, but I won't go into them here.
Thank you, because...
do a video in the future on this specific topic.
Oh, and I'm sure it's gonna go over so well.
I've also touched on it in the past, in fact. You could check out this video. Or this one.
There's nothing there.
Now I'll talk about the negatives of a purely adult-attracted species. Or more specifically, why it just doesn't make any sense.
I see. Please, by all means, explain to us why the vast majority of everybody else on the planet, why our relationships are wrong, why they don't make any sense. Go ahead.
First, at what point is an animal considered an adult? There are no...
That depends. That depends on a lot of factors, man. A lot of factors.
hard and fast rules in nature that govern this kind of thing.
Okay, you know, I'll try and tackle this. I'll try and tackle this question. How do we determine adulthood? Well, we have the societal way that we determine adulthood, which is the collective, understood and accepted age of consent for sex, age of decision making. For instance, 18 when we start letting people vote. That's kind of questionable sometimes. You know, responsibility with driving a car. That type of thing. These are the basic fundamental ideas of how we determine adulthood, usually. Now, in nature, it's usually, there's either two ways that you could determine it. Either one, they become capable of reproduction, or two, they have finished puberty. Now, the thing about puberty is pretty interesting, especially when it comes to human beings. Puberty can start at any time, but men usually are not done going through puberty until they're in their 20s. It's a true story. We're still fucking developing, still fucking changing, you know,
Unlike with humans. A good place to set adulthood of animals would be physical maturity. This occurs soon after sexual maturity, so we can consider that as puberty.
In animals, yes, but physical maturity, complete physical maturity, and the full effects of physical puberty, usually, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this, but I'm ballparking, I think it's 19 for girls, and it's like 23, 24 for guys.
Already, we can see the problem of missed opportunity.
Fuck.
Eggs are not fertilized, and there's more time before sex that the creature has to potentially die.
Oh no, they might miss out on a few hundred of the thousands upon thousands of eggs that are ovaries. Fucking dumb shit.
A species could certainly survive like this. It's just very unlikely that it would evolve this way.
In animals, not people.
What if we choose sexual maturity as adulthood? Well, first, that's like suggesting a 12-year-old human is an adult, with some debate. And second, this is the case for most members of a given species. There is often a little bit of forewarning before peak fertility in females, and males are often always fertile, so there's very little chance of lost opportunity for reproduction.
lost opportunity for reproduction. You say that like that's an actual good argument for diddling kids. I mean, we're already, don't get me wrong, I am not one of those people like, there's too many people on the planet. I mean, fundamentally, by our own resources, yeah, there are too many people on the planet, but I do believe that inspires and encourages innovation and technology, that we have to find ways to deal with it, and we should grow, we should expand. I'm a big guy, I'm a guy big into space travel, colonization, shit like that. I love that kind of stuff. But that doesn't mean that we're at risk because we're not impregnating, we're not knocking up the 12-year-old girls as soon as they have their first bleed. What the fuck, dude? You fucking psychopath.
So, where are the disadvantages? In this case, it's down to circumstance. For example, in harem species, not bothering to attract pre-adults can lead to a smaller harem, and thus less reproduction.
Oh, damn.
In solitary species, ignoring near adults could mean not being close enough to reproduce when they hit adulthood.
Oh no.
And I've
Those
already
are
explained
animals.
some of the benefits that we've missed out in social species. So, what about similar mechanisms to prove concept? Well, there's homo and bisexuality, fetishes, parenthood, and protective instinct. In humans, at least.
Okay.
Let's go through these, shall we?
Sure, let's do it. Why
Homo
not?
and bisexuality provide proof of concept by showing it's possible to deviate from the norm of a species sexually.
Mm-hmm.
They prove
And that's fine.
that it's possible to evolve a trait that doesn't add directly to an individual's chance to reproduce.
Great. And that's totally fine.
They show that sexuality isn't a clear-cut black and white issue. Fetishes further this proof by expanding the types of variations from the norm there are. In addition, fetishes like gerontophilia and age play show that different ages can be sexually attractive to an individual.
Yeah, I suppose so, but then again, like, there's a difference between fantasy and reality as well. Whatever kind of weird kinks that people have, so long as they're not actually causing any harm and not violating the basic fundamental collective good that's accepted by society, then who fucking cares?
Parenthood itself isn't a proof of concept for minor attraction, but rather shows that love for children can occur.
Everybody loves their kids. What are you talking about?
The love of a parent
Well, they should love their kids, because, well, I like having a kid.
is obviously different to the romantic love of a map. However, they
Yes.
are not so far removed as to be unrelated.
Excuse me? Actually, yes it is. They are very far removed. Oh my god, you fucking psycho.
That parents love their kids above all others shows that such a degree of love can occur. Tying into that, protective instinct
Love is... Oh my god. Love does not require sexuality, and sexuality in and of itself is a completely removed concept from love. I have fucked lots of people that I did not love. Lots of them. And this, I mean, the quality of the sex runs the gamut from, oh, Jesus Christ, mind-fuckingly terrible to brain-blastingly good. But it had nothing to do with love. Romanticism and love is not something that has to be intrinsically tied. That is so fucking not an argument.
can also prove that it's possible to love and care for children, even those that aren't your own. Why protect something you don't care about? How could it be instinct, but not evolved?
Of course, it's part of societal evolution, and it's also it's part of biological evolution to want to take care of and care for kids. It's group cohesion. It's why you'll have things like you know, groups of humans that will sacrifice themselves for the collective children of a generation, even if they don't have children of their own. There's nothing wrong with that. That's totally understood. That makes sense in group evolutionary psychology. But it has nothing to do with diddling the kids.
Any of these things, or the things that cause them,
Fuck.
could have given rise to minor attraction, or even possibly a combination of them.
No, you know what gave rise to minor attraction? Mental fucking illness.
I'd put my money on whatever caused the evolution of homosexuality, but I don't know for certain.
Yes, you don't know a lot of
Okay,
things.
I know I rushed through that last bit, but this video is getting long, and I'm already late in releasing it. It's fucking 2 a.m. I won't get into the social evolution of minor attraction here, but I'll do it in an upcoming video. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, or it gave you cause to think, please click that like button. If you want to see more, why not subscribe?
Oh my god. Okay. From the Manhattan Project, Shadowlade dude, put this towards calming things. I will. Actually, I will. Corey Seeley, this guy sounds like teal deer on roofies. I noticed that, actually. I was thinking that, too. JT Viper, $20, dude. Thank you. Jeff, you're doing necessary work with this. I don't have the constitution to handle it, but I hope this helps in lieu of me continuing to watch the stream. Bless your shitlord heart, Jeff. Stay strong. Keep fighting. I love you, JT Viper. You're a good guy. And we're done. I mean, like, that was the end of the second one. I do not. I have a stern constitution. I can handle a lot of shit. I can't do another one of these. Like, that's just it, you know. I'm gonna make this so I can still have the chat up, because you guys have so much interesting stuff to say. Wow, dude, my brain is melting in my fucking skull because of trying to, like, make sense of these crazy fucked up arguments. Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, we're done. We're done with that. We're all good. Everybody knows. Everybody understands. The collective understanding is that pedophilia. And I know there's going to be people out there, and it's going to be in the comments. And if you're one of those people who's watching this in the future and you're like, actually, technically, a lot of this could not be pedophilia. There's a different word for it. Blah, 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 blah. Fuck off. Fuck off. Stop it. Stop it right now. Stop it. Take your hands off the fucking keyboard. Delete your comment if you already posted it. I don't fucking care. I don't care. I don't fucking care. That's my words. That's what I'm using. Kiss my ass. Fuck off and die. Here's the thing. Everybody understands pedophilia is wrong. We have established science for the longest fucking time. Plenty of studies. We know the harm that comes from it. Simple as that. There is no arguing that it is not a benefit to society. In fact, it is an actual harm to society. That's why we're trying to combat. That's why we have these atrocious things like Saudi Arabia being part of the Human Rights Commission. Like, are you fucking serious? Are you actually fucking serious? These horrible instances of all these abuses of fucking children. The child sex slavery rings across the world that exist today. There are more child sex slaves in the world now than there were ever African slaves in the United States of America. Most people don't realize that. This is something that happens right now all the fucking time. And we know the harm it causes. We understand it. Trying to fucking make any goddamn sense out of it and make an ethical claim for this kind of behavior is so fucking crazy. But that's why I wanted to do this. That's why, you know, even though it's awful, it's hard to watch, I'm really appreciative that you guys took the time to watch it with me. Kudos to you. Kudos to you for sticking it with me. Is because, you know, you got to know that these people are out there. You got to know that this is real. I think it was yesterday, I don't remember what his name was, but he was known as the kingpin of child pornography, got arrested, or sentenced. I think he got sentenced, and they did a sting. Over 900 pedophiles got found. You got one of the actors of Glee, is still going through the court system because they found on his laptop and all of his different drives and shit like that over, well, I don't even know. It was something like 100,000 different photos and videos of all this fucked up shit happening. Like, it's everywhere, dude. It's everywhere. It's all over the fucking place. The best thing that you can do if you want to understand how to combat this kind of thing is you have to listen to them. And you have to understand where they're fucking coming from, how they're trying to rationalize it in their minds. And yeah, so I don't know. I guess that's my virtue signal of the day. Pedophilia is wrong, guys. Look at me. I don't know. Aw, from the Angry Penguin, have that third beer. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. So yeah, it's fucking nuts. If you see something, if you hear of something, report it. There's fuck. I have links in my fucking CP video that maybe I should copy onto this one. I'll copy all the reporting links from my first video that I did on this, and I'll put it in the description of this. This will get a lot less exposure, but, you know, just in case. If somebody's watching this in the future, they want to find a good place that they can find a way to report, then at least, you know, it'll be in the description. You can look at that. Yeah. And that's pretty much it for me. I'm almost... Yeah, I got one cigarette left. I need to go to the store. I need to go check the P.O. box so we can do a fucking mailbag episode soon. Maybe even tonight, because we got a fuck ton of boxes the other day. And yeah, I love you guys. Thank you so much for taking this time with me. I'm going to go work on regular videos and hang out with my kid. And I'll see you guys next time, okay? Bye.